Under the most utopian of circumstances, Tuesdays are the worst day of my week.
What?
Why?
Bad start, Dan.
Mean.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Love Tuesdays.
I'm going to explain to the audience, not that it requires explanation, but Greg Cody coming in with Stugotz to be maximum rodeo clown is difficult enough. Beyond that, Greg Cody's voice is in disrepair. He is hurting today. He got here very late, but was eager to get here early because he's never been so eager to talk about the Miami Dolphins. Today is Homer Day. He is the local columnist most associated with Miami Dolphins homerdom, and he doesn't care what we talked about yesterday, so he will just be redundant on that without giving any consideration whatsoever to what we've already done.
Correct.
But the hair looks great. I mean, give him that.
Well,
Thank
he
you.
doesn't think so. His wife doesn't think so. He's mad at us, and he says in a month he hopes it looks good. He does not think it looks good. He is disappointed with his haircut. But that is the beginning of what ails me. Incidentally,
He doesn't know style.
I mean, having said that, Lucas did a great job.
What?
that's why it's frustrating. Just right in there. Everything in there where you go, what? Because you don't understand that the show hasn't been set up. And Chris Cody, because Billy Gill is intent on anarchy at every turn.
Falsehoods.
For the third time today, Billy Gill drove to the wrong studio, drove to the Clevelander because he's got two kids and God bless football, and it's too much.
Well, to be fair, I only did it once today. The third time overall, not the third time today, in case there was confusion.
But so he comes in, and for the first time, and I should have been suspicious of this, for the first time, he's eager to be in the executive producer chair presently populated by Chris Cody. But it's only in exchange for Chris Cody serving 3 of his grid of death punishments at once. He's going to speak like Batman all show. He's going to have Big League Chew, an entire pack of Big League Chew in his mouth all show as he speaks as Batman. And he's going to restart his week of not cursing that has to go till next Tuesday because he failed to not curse yesterday.
3 birds, Dano.
3 birds with 1 stone. Go ahead and switch seats then with
what?
with Billy Gill. Yes.
My time to shine.
The rare killing of 3 birds.
You're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. This as Lucy comes in off of what she said was a horrible weekend.
Horrible is an understatement.
The worst weekend of her life.
Yep, pretty much.
Wow.
She saw 4 first downs from her Iowa Hawkeyes.
No, I didn't. I left early. I only saw 2.
Wow. Offensive burst.
Iowa had 14 minutes time of possession in the game with only 4 first downs, only 2 of which Lucy saw while she was there.
I definitely didn't see 14 minutes of possession time. Had to be like 8 for me.
Yeah.
You also didn't have functioning audio equipment, and you came back on behalf of Meadowlark Media with your paid intern, your father, having filmed the floor a lot with your technology.
There's like 8 videos of just grass on my phone. There's so many videos of me sideways. Yeah. You know what? Sometimes nepotism doesn't work, Kirk. Sometimes you have to fire your family member.
And also, when Stugotz walked into the room, he did so muttering under his breath, Jeremy's awfully chatty today.
Oh, you won't shut up. I mean,
I missed you guys.
the guy's got an opinion on everything. I mean,
I have some up-to-the-minute Damian Lillard information I will try to get to if anyone allows me over the course of today's anarchy.
I would try to get to it soon if it's up to the minute, because if not, then it'll be old.
You're right.
Right.
It can change, but it's as of this morning. I will get people updated in a second as to where we are. But Greg Cody is very eager to talk about the Miami Dolphins. And one thing, Stugotz, that I wanted to present to the audience in the macro during a very exciting time, obviously, for the Miami Dolphins about what's going on with their quarterback. That I find hugely fascinating because we've spent the last 2 years in this really odd place with quarterback analysis that I can't remember a lot of things like it, where you have this combination of things. hugely polarizing player somehow, even though he seems fundamentally decent, because people can't agree on how good he is by himself and feel like they need to know how good is he regardless of system and players around him. So there's disagreement there for 2 years. But then on top of that, you're also worried about his health more than you are the average quarterback. Even however it is you're worrying about Burrow now, it's 2 or 3 games, you're worried at any point that the whole thing could get short-circuited by something that even science and football don't have a good handle on when it comes to brain chemistry stuff. But the macro on this that I find hugely fascinating is right here in what I'm about to tell you, which is, I've mentioned before, culturally, how much Samoans care about football. Tua's relationship with his father, he's been basically groomed all his life to be this thing that he now is. And as a father and a newly married man, he just spent an entirely haunting, 12 months contemplating whether the risk of his future brain power is worth it to care about the sport that way. And the part here that is most interesting to me, Greg, is if that sport is almost literally survival of the fittest, where you've got just all this military discipline and science around how are we going to get those 7 yards when, defensive coordinators are planning all week to make sure we can only get 6 of them. If caring deeply about something to the point of risking future health and your body, what is the best way to ensure the probabilities on survival of the fittest? Master your craft so much that you get rid of the ball so quickly that Tom Brady is what you're trying to emulate because he can play till 45 because he's hit so infrequently in a violent game. What if you think about this, Tua cares about what he's doing more than any of us listening to this or talking about it. Cares deeply for the future of his culture, his family now with his own child, and his family because of how they care about football. If he cares like that, what is the optimal way to do survival of the fittest when what he's doing it with risks his future brain power? And it's to master that position. Now, it's easier said than done, but get rid of the ball every time in 2 seconds. So that, how many times have you seen him hit hard this season? We talked a lot about jiu-jitsu and him falling correctly. How many times this season through 3 games have you seen him wallop like you did 2 years, for 2 years, where he's getting thrown and you're like, he's too small to get thrown around like that. He's going to keep getting hurt.
Not many times. He's been sacked 1 time this year. Now, I know it's only 3 games, but I can't recall seeing him get hit that hard. Certainly not the way he was getting hit last year. That's for sure.
You understand what I'm saying,
Yes.
though? If what you have to do is protect your craft, your brain, if you have to protect it like that, you're going to try and learn the thing with optimal care on how to sculpt the mastery of your position so that it becomes something that you don't get hit or hurt very often. Obviously, Greg, very easy to say, hey, just play like Tom Brady. But Tom Brady had great pocket presence. He would get hit more than Tua's getting hit now. But Tom Brady's greatest gift the last 10 years is how quickly he made the decisions.
Yeah, and in addition to the jiu-jitsu, Tua also has gained 12 pounds, and his muscle mass is much better than it was last season. So he is a little bigger and a little stronger. You can see it. He just doesn't look physically as frail as he did last year. Yeah, when Tyreek Hill is in motion and Tua's going to go to him on a quick slant and the ball is out of his hands in 2.1 seconds, that's the process. That's what it is going to take to keep him healthy. And also, now they've discovered a great running game in the past 2 weeks. A great running game is also going to keep him healthy. So I agree with you, though. Everybody's like, if he stays healthy, if he stays healthy. That's the big disclaimer on Tua, but right now the signs look beyond positive.
No, but all you're doing, though, is playing probabilities here, right? Because it's not just does Tua have to master the game in a way that protects his health. Organizationally, if you're playing all in on now, McDaniel has to do that too. His whole scheme has to design stuff that increases the probabilities of he's not going to get hurt because we're not going to allow it through the way that we're scheming. And again, all of it's fluky. Like any one play, the guard misses a block. he gets obliterated, the whole thing goes up in smoke. Like
He
you're
decides to run, Dan.
It's a dynamite stick
yes,
in the middle of your blueprint. That's problematic. But all you're trying to do on protection of your investment is you're doing everything. Imagine any company that exists having one entity so valuable that everyone has to work toward making sure that the brain chemistry of that thing is not altered. Like it's to have that at the center of our football and Miami City experience, sports city experience, to me is like it's the crossroads on where all of the excitement and the violence of football meet to make a city, jubilant with radiance and also terrified at how quickly it can all get toppled.
Isn't that you, Dan?
Yeah.
Well, I have Keyman life insurance in the event that something happens to me. Do the Dolphins have that for the standings?
Huh.
What is that?
What is that? Yeah.
It's a Keyman life insurance.
What the hell?
The
What
key
is
man.
that?
But
What
what
does
is
that
it?
mean?
We don't know anything about
What?
that.
I mean,
Key lime life
talk
insurance.
to us,
maybe.
man.
Yeah.
You're our Tua. Let's go.
That's the
Yeah.
name of the life insurance?
Locksmith? What is it called?
It's just Keyman life insurance. You can ask Bimmel out there. The company's in town today to plan whatever it is that we've
Your
got
funeral?
planned. Well, it shouldn't be.
Keyman.
Our funeral is in play. Well, no, I guess you guys can
Well, you have
keep doing
Keyman
that.
life insurance.
Yeah, but
Is it
the
an
company-
option for benefits? I mean,
Yeah, is that part of? We have open enrollment coming up. Is Keyman life insurance something
Yeah.
we're all
Can I get that?
eligible for? Yeah. What does it mean?
Roy, why would we get you Keyman life insurance?
Well, we don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. So
It is insurance in the event that
Can Lucy get it?
something happens to somebody who's disproportionately important to the value of the company.
Oh yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Then. You guys, you guys
Not
you're
for
making
me.
me feel like an idiot. Now. Like,
Look
so
at
I'm
me,
not that
Louis.
important to the company, apparently.
Yeah,
according
look
to
at
you.
me, Louis.
so you're saying Roy's not a key man, huh?
Yeah, I'm not valuable to the company. Thank you. And that's why I'm not in the EP chair, I guess, huh?
I love you, Roy.
You can sit here if you want.
Okay, get up.
Are we not going to talk about the offensive line? You can't have a conversation about how great Tua has been. 3 perfect games in a row for this offensive line. I don't know how sustainable it
There's
is.
still a lot
Put
of
the
gum
gum
in,
in
this
your
pack.
mouth.
There's
Yes, that's not enough gum.
I don't even like gum.
It's not a piece of gum. You have to put the entire packet of gum in
I have
your
to
mouth.
rotate it out throughout the show.
No. You eat a
It's the
whole
whole
pack.
entire pack, the
It's going
entire
to lose
show.
flavor.
All right. Well, yes. This is gang. Here's the thing.
I hate that.
Rachel.
Dan made this seem like I came in here wanting chaos. No. Dan, I have heard your complaints about the way that this whole ordeal has been going over the past year. So I came in this year and I'm ruling with an iron fist. And if Chris has to do 3 punishments today to make sure we get back on track, darn it, that's what we're going to do.
Wow, all right.
Are we CPR trained?
Well, you're the CPR trained person, I think.
I almost cursed. Shoot.
Go ahead and put the whole thing in your mouth. I think it's
It's empty, Dano.
I don't believe that.
Not empty.
It's most definitely
It's
not.
clearly
This is a
not
hazard at this point, folks. Look,
That's,
I got a golf ball in my
that's
mouth.
the point.
That's the point, the choke. Okay.
Do you have Keyman life insurance? Or?
No.
No. So what happens, Dan, if you get sick? If you
Go get Bimmel. I don't know what the Keyman life insurance
Bimmel.
is. I know it costs
Bimmel,
a
in
lot
here.
of
What
money.
happens if Dan dies?
Hold on a second.
Key man life.
but
I'm
he
looking
has
at
the
it right
key
here.
man life insurance.
There is
right.
such a thing.
Yeah. there is.
Qualifying for key man, it says.
Are we in your will?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
What do we get?
Thank you.
Not very much.
Oh.
Huh.
Who gets your dog that bit you?
The dog has not been put in the will yet. The will was made before
you
I
gotta
got
get on
the
that.
dog.
Stays with your wife.
I'd
no?
prefer not to get the dog if we're asking. I have 2
Okay,
dogs
we're not
already.
Just
taking
money
we're
for
not
me.
really
Claire
taking
wants a dog.
requests on the will.
Bimmel's here.
That's not Bimmel. Thank you, our COO. They're asking. I don't know exactly what
Want some gum?
Keyman life insurance is. Do you want to explain to them what Keyman life insurance is?
Okay. Well, Keyman Life Insurance is what the company would take as a policy for the person who's the most invaluable to the company.
Right.
And where's Stugotz fall in this?
Well, we had a ranking.
Oh, please give us the ranking.
Can you have multiple key men? Is there such a thing as
Pablo's ahead of you.
key men? And is to call it key man sexist?
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Listen to me.
caveman, so
Key
it should be
person.
key person.
If Pablo's
insurance.
ahead of me, I'm quitting. I'm just telling you right now.
Where do I rank?
We had a power rankings, and it changes every year, actually.
And I'm last.
So yeah.
Is there such a thing
I'm 16.
as multiple key men?
You could have multiple key people insurance, However, then the company has to do a cost-benefit analysis of how much is that worth. So
Do we have any idea what that costs?
Well, yes, he would.
Or can we say it publicly, I suppose?
I don't think we should say it. This could
Okay.
trigger some murder schemes. So we
Okay.
don't want to do that.
Stugotz, huh?
How about that?
Is Bimmel in your will?
Bimmel is not in my will.
wow.
How about
So
me, Dan?
It was,
not a
it was
person of interest,
made
then.
before we started the company. I didn't have a lot of people in my will older than me, Greg Cody.
Why? Why?
Just
It's just
saying.
the last name
I'm
Cody.
an optimist.
I'm just saying that.
It's just under a Cody blanket.
All right.
You
I
still
have
have more
disposable
gum.
man insurance, by the way. It's much cheaper. It's like $5 a month.
Right.
Good policy, though.
Anything else? Because I know you guys had a bunch of questions when it was just me who couldn't answer them, but you have somebody here now who
answered
can
them.
answer them. Okay, thank you, Bimmel. We appreciate your time.
Thanks a
kinda
lot.
We get the
Bimmel.
rankings?
Exactly
I mean,
right. We're kind of curious about the power
Yeah.
rankings.
Get in the
here.
top
How
five,
does that
maybe?
work?
Who's eligible for key man insurance?
Who's next?
Right.
It's really it's actually it could be anybody's decision to do it.
Wow.
However, it is probably just a couple people who make that choice.
Huh.
And-
Billy tried to ask a maximum anarchy question,
Yeah.
and who's next? Who's second place on key man life insurance?
I mean, I want it. I mean,
To be fair, we haven't really thought about like who would be the like right afterwards if something was to happen.
Amin.
It's got to be me, I think.
Well, Stugotz is confused here because he says, I want it, but it wouldn't mean any money for you.
Right.
It's only if you die.
Yeah, it goes to the company.
It goes to the
doesn't go-
company.
it doesn't-
It protects
yeah.
the
Don't
company.
want it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Stugotz
good,
isn't
thanks.
interested in helping the company. Stugotz is interested in helping his own bank account.
Well-
I don't think he understands the way this thing
How
works.
much do we
I
all
don't.
get if Dan croaks?
I'm surprised, Dan, that you don't understand Stugotz. Like, if you said, I have a prostate exam today, Stugotz would say, I want it. Like, that's just the way that it works.
I just want to be a key man. That's it, you know?
You are. Just not
You are
insured.
exactly.
You're just not insured like a key
You're
man.
just not insured. You're just not that important.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Unnecessary.
Hey,
Unnecessary.
No, that's right.
Bimmel,
Now you
go
know
sit
how
in
I
the
feel.
penalty box. Go sit in the penalty box. That last sentence was unnecessary.
I'd like to sit with Bimmel. I mean,
All right, you go
I
sit
beat the
with
living
him.
shit out of him.
All right,
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh!
You go sit with him as well.
Wow.
I will get to this Lillard information in a moment, but Greg Cody, I do want to hear
finally comes out.
your homerish thoughts on everything going on with the Miami Dolphins. We are going 50 minutes straight on YouTube, so when you look at the clock, there are 32 remaining minutes. You are in no danger
Yeah.
when I ask you of all of your thoughts.
Thank you.
Your son wants to play a new game. Let's nitpick. Is the new game. Does it have any music? Does it have any imaging? Does it have anything other than Let's Nitpick as the game?
Just a game, Dano. Yeah. Because it's serious. There's no fun in games here. What?
You're not talking as Batman.
I'm definitely talking as Batman.
You're
You guys-
talking as Will
you guys
Arnett
can all
as
bite
Batman.
Do you have enough gum in your mouth?
No, there's still more
There's
in
still
there.
gum?
Yeah.
Dude.
I have a golf ball in my mouth.
Both cheeks.
Okay, this is why. You guys wonder why
I'll just choke them.
Lucy was wondering, why does he hate Tuesdays so much? Why does he start off so lacking in optimism? And now you see, Lucy.
I've been having a great time so far. I don't know what you're talking about. I think we're all having fun except Chris.
Well, you're not the key man or woman, though. So.
Yeah, it felt kind of sexist. Just gonna put that out
Yeah,
there.
key man.
Ooh, wow.
Ridiculous.
I didn't name it. Don't take that up with the people who named it. I just had to sign off on purchasing it.
Okay. I wonder if my wife is a key person in her firm. I'm going to have to ask her that. And next break, I'm going to text her. Okay, the Dolphins. There's two things at play here. Number one, you mentioned, which is the fragility of Tua's health, and everyone sort of always assuming the whole house of cards is going to crash the first time he takes a hard hit. The second thing at play is, oh my gosh, if they get steamrolled in Buffalo, everything starts over again. And now it's all same old Dolphins. You know, Buffalo holds Tyreek to 2 catches for 19 yards. They don't run the ball well. They lose by 3 touchdowns. Then where are we? Now, I don't think that's going to happen because I think the Dolphins are as good as they've seemed. I think they're the most balanced team in the NFL with the possible exception of Philadelphia or San Francisco. And Kansas City's not as balanced. Neither is Buffalo, I don't think.
Kansas City's as balanced.
Well, Chris Jones helps them a lot.
Kansas City is as balanced.
Okay, there's 5 teams in the league right now, including Miami, that to me are above all the rest. So they're for real. I tried to tell everybody. I've been trying to tell everybody, I don't mind being a homer in this case because I honestly believe the Dolphins are this good. I don't think it was a fluke. 70 points is obviously a fluke, and I appreciate Mike McDaniel. He noted that I just had a 69th birthday. He told me we're going to get 70 for you, just as sort of a birthday nod, and I really
That's the
appreciate
first
that.
time you've admitted to your age. You've always hidden it, and in telling that joke, a total lie, which is not
Yeah,
something
it is a
that
total lie.
Mike McDaniel said
He's
at
not
all.
69?
He would never be frivolous with the idea of running up the score. Not that he ran up the score, although I will tell you this. When the score
Greg,
was
can you slow down? You're breathless because you're so excited.
I
Just
am.
slow down for
Yeah,
a second. I
okay.
know you've got a lot to say.
Okay.
Just slow down because you're breathless. You have plenty of time to say
I
whatever
know.
it is
You're
you would
right.
like to say.
Yeah.
I know you have not. You have to understand. Greg Cody wrote a book about 50 years of Dolphins history. It has been a long time since it's felt like this around here. It's 3 games of overreaction, and he is having trouble breathing.
I am talking too fast. I'm going to try to slow down a little. I'm talking like the Greg Cody Show podcast is best listened to at 1.8, and that's how I'm talking right now. And so I mean to slow down. In the press box, watching history on Sunday, I forget whether it was when they scored the 56th point or the 63rd point, but for the first time in my life, I looked at a colleague and I said, they got to stop scoring. Because it was getting to the point where you're imagining, what is Sean Payton going to say after the game? Are they literally running up the score? And I think that was just before they put Mike White in, which takes a lot of the controversy out of it. But that's how dominant they were. I have never said that about any team I've ever covered. They got to stop scoring right now because this is getting ridiculous, and it was.
I say that about Iowa every weekend.
It's honestly encouraging to see that they've won 3 different styles of games. The first one, shootout against San Diego, Los Angeles. That's a fine. Second game, the Patriots bring it into the mud a little bit. We win that game. Our offense doesn't look as good, but that's a better defense we're playing there. This game, we just blow them out. We see 3 different styles of wins in 3 games. This team's got versatility, and this team is for real.
Bruce Wayne almost snuck in there. Just be careful, Batman.
Screw you.
Greg Cody mentioned.
Whoa.
That's not a curse.
Whoa,
That's not a
we're
curse.
getting close to
Put
the
it on the
line.
poll, Juju. Is screw you cursing? Is saying
No.
screw you cursing? Let's play because he's Cody was mentioning what will Sean Payton say after the game. Well, he got testy when they asked him in an elaboration of, yeah, you were embarrassed, but were you historically embarrassed? Listen to this.
I know that you said it's embarrassing, but this is kind of an historic game. I mean, it's
I'm aware.
third time the team has scored 70 points over 700.
What's the question?
I mean,
What's the
how do
question?
you feel about it being
I just finished telling you.
historically embarrassing?
Next question.
Wow.
Historically embarrassing.
It's the look away, too. He looks away from the reporter. Next question.
Belichick. He's Belichick.
No,
on that.
it's no, because no, he's any coach who's allowed 70 who has already told you he's embarrassed. He gave you, you okay, Chris Cody?
I was almost gagged. I was trying to blow a bubble.
You only have half the gum in your mouth, correct?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's already lost all flavor.
Eat a little more. That'll help.
I literally can't.
Should get a dentist on
He
call.
looks
for
like
this
he's
kid.
in so much pain.
This is a bad idea. Like, this should have been vetted like the pepper. There's a lot of gum
It's a
in this.
difficult
This
assignment.
is almost impossible, I would say.
Well, he's trying to chew down that so that it makes more room in his mouth for
I'm
the rest
telling
of
you,
it.
I have a baseball in my mouth right now.
We will get to your game. What is it? Let's
nitpick.
Let's nitpick.
Special teams, a little shaky. Sound like Mike's dirty demon.
I was going to
It
say,
does.
this doesn't
I was
really
thinking the
sound
same
Cut me some slack here, man. Jesus.
Do we have functioning audio in the penalty box? Because
We
Stugotz
do,
has
actually,
been gone an awful long time, and I'm looking at
Doing
him,
a show.
and I see that he has a microphone in his hand, but I don't generally go to him in the penalty box. Stugotz, why aren't you back in here yet? Yeah, we don't have functioning audio. Okay. Stugotz, just get back in here
The
because
seating's really improved in there.
Yeah, the seating is better. The audio, unfortunately, not any better. We'll see if we hire yet more people to handle the audio so that it's not right on video.
My dad can help. If
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent.
Get
What,
that
what are you
key man
paying
insurance.
for him if he's not here?
We can't afford it because of how expensive the Key Man life insurance is. We can't afford to get functioning audio for a company that is audio. Chris Cody, what happened with you and Steve Goldstein? You embarrassed yourself with a local broadcasting legend at a Panther practice here recently.
I got a little too chummy. Me and Goldie, we've reached a point in our relationship where we can say hi to each other. Forever, Goldie was just a person that I recognized, and he had no clue who I am. I finally have reached the point where I can say hello to Goldie, and I took it a little step too far this past week at Panthers practice.
This is a long story to tell this way, right? It's a long story to tell.
So he's
put a little more gum in your mouth.
Why would you do 3 punishments at the same time?
So he's eating a bagel.
Put a little more gum in your mouth.
He was eating a bagel, and I thought I recognized the packaging of said bagel. What? So I got a little too chummy with Goldstein, and I go, Goldie, is that from Mitch's West Side in Weston? And he was like, no. I inaccurately tried to guess where his bagel is from. Because I know Mitch's packaging, and I know that Goldie. I've seen Goldie at the back before I could say hi to Goldie. I was at this place, and I know that he frequents Mitch's West Side in Weston.
Here.
Oh, it's
Where'd
a great
that man
place.
go?
Place is great, yeah.
Great tuna. Yeah.
So I've seen him there before.
There, he's back.
And so he had a bagel at Panthers practice that looked exactly like the packaging at Mitch's West Side. So I got a little too comfortable, a little too chummy, and I said, hey, Goldie, is that bagel from Mitch's West Side? And he's like, no. And then what? That was just awkward. I was like, oh, well, it looks like it because they package it. And he's just like, that is. And I was like, I saw you there once. That's why I thought maybe it was from Mitch's. It was awkward. It was a whole thing where he was just like, nope, not Mitch's. That place is good, though. And I don't even know if he just was saying that. He was just saying that to make me feel better. It was embarrassing. Roy could have saved me, but he just sat there.
Oh, yeah, I just sat there.
That's what he does. I mean,
That's not key man behavior, Roy. Key man.
You were worried about today.
Yeah.
I pride myself.
Why
If
would
I see a bagel, I know where it's from. Really? And I was wrong this time.
Okay. You pride yourself.
0 for 1 in that game.
You pride yourself on that.
Everybody knows that about Batman.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Does everyone know that Batman prides himself on spotting a good bagel? At Le Batard Show. I wanted to ask you guys, because it has been a minute since we can file this particular allegation at a football player, and we can almost never file this allegation at a quarterback. Mac Jones is dirty. He's a dirty player. And we talked about this last year because of how he slides sometimes when he knows he's not going to get hit because the quarterback can give up his body. The way he goes spikes high, trying to get people on the knees. We've noticed this. But during the game, a game, admittedly, not a lot of people were watching because it was Patriots-Jets, but football games, a lot of people watch. There are a lot of cameras. There are a lot of videos. He thought it was a good idea as a quarterback to hit Sauce Gardner in the junk.
And he got away with it, too. Like, it wasn't until Sauce somehow tracked down, like, video footage from God knows where to put it out there to send to the NFL to try to avoid getting fined for pushing him to the ground. The thing about Mac Jones that's weird is, like, we met Mac Jones, well, not we, but Chris met Mac Jones at the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and they did the gritty together, and you're like, oh, Mac Jones, this guy looks pretty carefree. Probably the worst thing he does is cheat on his taxes. But no. He's a dirty player, it seems.
People that are dirty players are the type that have never lost a game through their entire career. I guarantee you look back, Mac Jones, he didn't lose probably in high school. He played at Alabama. I'm telling you, these guys that never lose,
Are sore
once
losers?
they start losing, they start hitting people in the junks. Look it up. All the junks.
Just rampant junks.
I've never lost. Now I'm losing. Ah, you get hit in the junk. You get hit in the junk. You get hit in the junk. He hit me in the junk at the Super Bowl. I didn't say it.
You really? You're
I was like, no one will believe me.
just revealing it now, huh?
While you were doing the gritty,
You ask him where he got his bagel from.
You
and
were
he said,
fast, You were fast friends, you and him at the Super Bowl. You were getting along, and now he's pretty obviously a dirty player, right? When do you ever get to say that about the quarterback?
Just for fun, I Googled the name Mac Jones, and the first two headlines that come up are Mac Jones' timeline of dirty plays, and the other headline is Chris Long calls Mac Jones one of the top 5 dirtiest QBs of all time. He's had this reputation dating back a couple of years, and, you know, the NFL goes so far to protect the quarterback that this is one quarterback who's using that protection to be an offensive threat. And the league should do something about it because, you know, Belichick's not going to. He's not saying, hey, Mac, calm down a little bit. But the league should. He should get one of those famous letters. They always send you a letter before they fine you or suspend you, sort of a warning letter. Hey, be careful, Mac.
Right.
You know, and he needs one of those.
Sure. I'd like to hear the rest of Chris Long's top 5. I'm not certain there are 5.
I'd like to hear the incidents. Yeah, I don't think there are 5 dirty quarterbacks in the history of the sport. I don't believe we can come up with them, but I'd like the list. We'll get to that in a second. Yes, Batman.
How about a general universal rule? If you are caught on camera hitting someone in the junk, you get it done to you the next game before the game. So this week, Mac Jones gets hit in the junk before the game by a player from the opposing team.
Like at the coin toss?
Just at the coin toss.
Eye for an eye.
We have 3 junk hits today because last week there were 3 on this game, and now this week these people will be paying. It's like, all right, it's like grid of death. Punishment's paid every week. Mac Jones, you have to get your balls hit this week. Junk.
What is the list of Mac Jones crimes? Because I only remember the one. I don't even know how many ways a quarterback can be dirty, get opportunities to be dirty.
Okay, here's one from Week 9 of 2021. They call it the Brian Burns incident. Burns strip-sacked Jones, and in the ensuing scramble for the ball, Jones grabbed Burns by the ankle and gator rolled, taking Burns down.
We all know what that is.
Burnsy.
I got to ask Ron McGill later in the show. There was a gator here in Florida found with human remains in its mouth. I don't know why it is. Yeah, they had to put him down. So that's what Mac Jones was trying to do. He was trying to get some human remains on a fumble because he was embarrassed by the strip sack.
Week 7, 2022. On a pair of scrambles, Jones had a pair of questionable slides. In the first, he kicked his leg out in a seeming attempt to trip Bears safety Jaquan Brisker. On the second, more egregious slide, Jones had his cleats up and made contact with Brisker's nether regions. The old nether regions.
Why'd you say it like that?
Week 16, 2022. The block. Jones again found himself at the center of controversy, this time involving Eli Apple. On a fumble recovery, later ruled an incomplete pass, Jones was in pursuit of the ball carrier when he split off and opted to dive at the legs of the Bengals cornerback instead.
It's a long list. He hasn't been playing that long in the pros.
Week 3, 2023, the low blow. It has not taken too long for Jones to find himself under fire again for another potential dirty play in the 23 season. He had attempted a quarterback sack, and after the play, it appeared Sauce Gardner, shoved Jones to the ground. Following the game, Gardner claimed Jones hit him in the private parts, describing it as the first time that's ever happened to me. That's 4. And he hasn't played that long.
No, it's a long list.
Yeah.
And how bad do you have to be to always be somebody who is involved with making tackles, dirty tackles,
Right.
because the ball that you had is going in the other direction?
It's spectacular to be able to put the other team to have the ball in their hands to where you're trying to hit them that many times and be cheap at the same time. It's amazing as a quarterback.
It's frustrating, though. You throw an interception and you want to get the ball back, or you want to,
And to Batman's point,
deal out some pain.
He probably is someone who never lost before.
Right.
Mike Ryan has come in, even though he was off today, simply because there's Lillard stuff happening, and he wants to be near a microphone when Lillard stuff is happening. Chris Cody, before we go to Mike Ryan on this, can we begin the game, please, of Let's Nitpick? Because I don't think your father, noted homer, and he's never been this excited about the Dolphins, right? It's since Marino, you haven't been this excited about the Dolphins?
Probably since Marino. Yeah, since Marino. Absolutely. In 1983, 84, going into 85 were the golden era of Dan Marino's early prime. And that's the last time that the Dolphins have showed this kind of promise and excitement.
Let's nitpick. Chris Cody, do you have anything beyond special teams, or is that all you have? Robbie Chosen did very poor job blocking in general.
Oh, look at you playing the game. That short yardage offense.
Wait, hold on. We have music for this game.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we
Wow.
do. Yeah, it's very exciting. Hold on.
Do you want to
You
make
might
it
wanna make
louder?
that louder
You want to make
there.
music something that we can hear, or you just want to play an organ for yourself?
There it is.
Oh, I like it.
Let's nitpick. Special teams. Could burn us in the long run. Short yardage situations. Ingold, not the answer.
Really? You've dismissed him as not the answer. I thought
That's right.
Wait a minute. When Engold has the ball, they don't need a fullback. They've got a fullback, at least in part, because this fullback does what fullbacks are supposed to do. They're keeping the
nitpick. Has X lost a step?
It's ridiculous when you come to think of it that the Dolphins in this offense, this supersonic, high-scoring offense, still have a fullback, a position that was relevant in the NFL in about 1962. And now you have two of the fastest running backs in the NFL in Achan, no longer a chain, Achan and Mostert.
Let's nitpick.
And instead of allowing them with that speed to maybe find the corner and get a yard, you're handing the ball to Alec Ingold. I just don't get it.
You kind of stepped on my last one. Has Xavier Howard lost a step?
Yes, but he's still damn good.
Let's nitpick.
I like this
Did
game.
the Dolphins peak too early?
Ask me after Sunday.
Let's nitpick.
I think their offense has obviously peaked too early because I don't expect them to score more than 70 this season.
All downhill from here.
You don't have them scoring 70
No,
again?
I think that's the peak, and it would have been better if they had saved that for the Super Bowl. I think.
Let's nitpick.
Yeah, my wife made a comment to that effect, a save those points kind of comment. It is funny, though, if the Dolphins score 34 points in Buffalo, I want the first question to Mike McDaniel to be, what was wrong with the offense today, Mike? You were a little off.
Let's nitpick.
Is that it, though? I think that since they've scored...
Everybody can play.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think there's anything else. Everyone can play, but I think they scored 70. They won by 50. That's...
Will Vic Fangio come down on the field?
Wait a minute.
Let's nitpick.
Thanks.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about that is not nitpicking, Stugotz, I think something that, I don't know if it got missed Sunday. Obviously, when 70 points are scored, a lot can be talked about. But the fact that the Denver Broncos have what is arguably the best corner in the game in Patrick Surtain's son, and that his son, as part of their defensive philosophy, was on Tyreek Hill 62% of the time during the game.
Yep. He's overrated.
He's not overrated. Their best is not as good as Miami's best. He's not as good at cornerback as Tyreek Hill is at wide receiver. That's no indictment of Surtain. It means that Tyreek Hill is not coverable if Surtain cannot do it. But beyond that, though, I would tell you that Surtain covering Hill for 62% of the game and allowing 4 catches on 5 targets is kind of successful. Like I know it's not. I know it's not.
Because it wasn't 5?
I'm saying no, that he only got thrown to 5 times because Surtain was on him 62% of the game, and they only threw 5 times there. Like, what I'm saying is it's not possible to actually guard if you can't do it with the best player at the position or one of the best players at the position in the game.
You get the game.
That's not nitpicking. That's not. That was a
I'm
different.
saying 4 or 5 is successful.
He
stopped them once. That's 20%.
Weird, yeah.
Let's nitpick. I was playing a
But
different
only
game.
throwing 5 times in that direction, you're saying, is a successful
I feel like he
afternoon.
stopped them all the time.
So
Said he
Patrick
didn't get an
Surtain Jr.
attempt.
won the afternoon.
Let me do it this way,
Big game
Stugotz.
for
Let me do it this way. If I made your assignment for a day, Stugotz,
Yes.
cover Tyreek Hill 62% of the time.
They be throwing at me all day.
It probably
Dano.
would be more than 5 targets, but just make it any cornerback in the world or the history of the world. My guess is that there'll be more than 5 targets to Tyreek Hill in those situations.
Right. And especially this. Imagine being Jalen Waddle after that game. Boy, they really missed me, didn't they? Okay, you're missing your second best receiver. So they normally would have gone to Tyreek Hill even more, but they didn't.
$5.
You okay?
They didn't because Patrick Surtain III is that good.
You owe $20 from last week.
I do. I owe Jeremy $20.
That you stole. Stole to pay as a tip for your haircut from the piggy bank. So and now you own $5.
I do.
On top of that. Last week, we didn't get the chance because you wanted to criticize Messi for not playing all the time for Miami, correct? You didn't want him to play elsewhere and take time off?
I expect at age 36 that he's not going to play every game, particularly when they're on a run of 12 games in a month, or it seems like.
Let's nitpick.
I expect him to occasionally take a day off. But if they're serious about chasing an MLS playoff spot and they're 5 points behind with 5 games to go, you need him for MLS matches. Does Argentina need him for a World Cup qualifier that they know they're going to win? Probably not. So that's the thing I question, is that he would play in a qualifier where they don't really need him instead of an MLS match where they do really need him.
I don't see where you say they don't really need him when he won a World Cup qualifier late with a free kick.
Right.
It was a 1-0 game. They literally needed him to win that game. It's a World Cup qualifier, and that's what high-level soccer is. If you bring in a player like Leo Messi, you know during the international break, he's going to go play for his country. What's screwed up is you should go at the league for actually having games during international breaks, because that's kind of Mickey Mouse.
That's ridiculous. And now they're playing a U.S. Open Cup game Wednesday night. I mean,
no, they're playing a final for a trophy.
Final, right.
Listen, all Greg is saying is get your priorities in order. I mean, you're down here, you're in Miami, you got the whole city excited, playing the games. I mean, these games are more important. I'm with you. They're not qualifying games; they're regular season games.
These guys get it.
All right, thank you for bringing me in.
The other thing is
I'm
this.
gonna leave now.
No, I want to talk. I want to talk to you about the Lillard stuff.
Okay, but this is nonsensical.
Welcome to my Tuesdays, Mike.
Look, Messi has said he's done with World Cups. He probably isn't.
No, he hasn't. Yeah? He's literally playing in World Cup qualifiers. He said the opposite.
He said after the last World Cup, that was my last
No,
one.
but then he said after he won it, he's going to keep playing, which is why he played in a World Cup qualifier.
We'll see.
We'll see. He just won a World Cup qualifier. I am leaving.
No,
I'm leaving.
Mike, I need.
This is baffling.
Mike,
he's
Lillard.
the guy that knows soccer on the show outside of me.
Cody, therapy couch.
What?
Get out of here.
Made a great point.
Get out. No, I
Thank
need.
you.
I
He
need.
didn't. He lied. That's
a
totally
great
wrong.
point to me. I mean,
No, thank you, Stugotz.
Therapy couch.
The only thing he said that didn't make sense was that they played 12 games in a month. I mean, get out of here.
I mean, it seems like it's
games,
ridiculous.
please.
I don't do the
It's a light
math.
month.
I mean, come on.
Cody, out of the room. Mike, how did you receive the information that is now coming out that Milwaukee is interested in Damian Lillard and that Toronto got deep into negotiations on Damian Lillard and then pulled out? I have up-to-the-minute information on this, but I'm just curious. I imagine Heat fans have been listening to the last couple of months of everything that's happening with Lillard, and they might be confused by the general lack of movement. And so when you hear what could be perceived as scare tactics, if you're in the Heat's position, about Toronto and Milwaukee now getting in the game, trying to drive up the price, your thoughts are what?
My thoughts are, I look where the report comes from. I see it's an ESPN report. And I know that Portland is dying to get some leverage in this because it's been reported by Shams that if Damian Lillard gets traded to another team, he will. What is happening right now? Are you putting in that disgusting Heat mouthpiece that has been out in the open for several weeks?
Well, he is the Heat mouthpiece.
I get it. Okay. Well, I take into account where it's being reported. I know a situation that Portland's dying to get some leverage. Because Lillard's going to apparently request a trade if he's traded anywhere but Miami. So I take it as it's all BS posturing from Portland dying to get someone else in the mix so that he can re-engage and improve on their offer. But Barry Jackson has reported, and he's pretty plugged in, that the Heat did circle back with Portland, and they finally had some talks, and there are some reports out there about finding other teams to help complete the deal. But I am dying to know your latest information.
What does that mean that he's going to request a trade if he gets traded to another team? Because he's already requested a trade to the Heat, and they're kind of like, nah. So, like, if he goes to a new team that trades a bunch of assets for him, they'll probably also be like, nah, you're going to play here.
I mean, no one will actually want to acquire a SAR that's going to come in and immediately make a mess of things. And that's what the Heat are banking on. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong.
They do have the leverage because Damian Lillard is on their side working with the Miami Heat to try and get to Miami, which is what...
Now do it as Batman.
Which is what everyone wants. Why would I do it as Batman? That's not my penalty. Let's nitpick. So there hasn't been any movement on what the Heat is offering. The offer, as I have said, is the offer. They are not going to overpay for someone who is 33 years old and gets $219 million when they know the back end of that contract is going to be red. Toronto didn't want to pay Kyle Lowry, favorite son, after 35. They're going to pay this guy after 35 when the back end is red? The Heat says their offer is the best offer, and if someone can come up with something better, they can have him.
Can you take this serious, please? I really want to hear this info.
Oh, wait, no, that's a huge nugget at the end over
You're
there.
the key man, all right.
I couldn't understand.
All right, so this is how the Miami Heat should play it, which is fine.
They don't budge.
If
Riley's
you can
not gonna
find a better
budge.
offer,
Right.
take it. Yeah. Because you're putting an insane value on a player that just 2 years ago, Woj said, this is a depreciating asset. This is a small guard on a big number who's already 33 years old. So the Miami Heat's now stance is
they're not overpaying for a bad end of the contract. That's not what they're going to do. They've already got Jimmy Butler, who's going to be onerous as a contract later in his years.
So, quick question, though. Is Pat Riley fully prepared to go into another one of these whale hunts and come up empty-handed? Because he's had a team that's gone to 2 out of the last 4 finals, and he hasn't really netted the one asset that can make the team a champion, that can clear that final hurdle. It ended up being Kyle Lowry, which was a bad move.
They obviously, like the team that got to the finals last year, it is now depleted by some people that they have lost that they believe that they can recreate because they created those people that have been lost. And they want Lillard, but at their price, not at anybody else's price.
But you're saying he's working with the team,
I mean,
right?
we're looking. The Heat need to do something. No?
Stugotz, like this stuff is, it's all sorts of muddied and muddled because you can't work with a team directly because it is tampering. Okay, but these behind the scenes machinations of someone's agent and all the things that have happened publicly where Damian Lillard has been willing to do damage to what is his relationship, only so much damage, though, to his relationship with the city of Portland and a fan base that he values. This is as far as Damian Lillard has been willing to go on the damage. But when Lillard is coming out and saying, I want to go to Miami, when you're talking about these amounts of money, it's not because he doesn't know that all of the pieces are in place. Like, he's not doing flippantly an interview, I want to go to Miami, as if that stuff hasn't been worked on behind the scenes, however it is that these teams get in trouble by navigating wherever it is the loopholes are. These things don't happen because an athlete just decides one day to shrug his shoulders and say something into a microphone. They're more orchestrated than that.
I think I can get behind the cause as a Heat fan. Like, okay, if someone tops the offer, they can have them. We're not going to improve the offer. But then I look at it from a treetop view and I realize it's the same thing as last year. Now, they ended up proving people wrong because they had one of the biggest upsets in NBA history in upsetting the Bucks, and they got to the finals. And we were freaking out about that offseason because they've gotten worse. They've lost Gabe Vincent. They've lost Max Strus. It's deja vu all over again. What's the improvement on this roster? The growth and development of younger players that they refuse to put into this trade? If he whiffs on Damian Lillard, when Damian Lillard has finally done the things that has been absent of all these other whale chases, it's going to be a mark against. It's going to be really disappointing because this is the window.
But add it to the list of marks, and then they'll get in on Embiid or Giannis, and they'll try to do it all over again, or they'll try and get better in January. They're already confused. The Heat are already confused that Cronin didn't make this trade a long time ago because now all the players have moved 90% of the league. You got to wait until December to retrade them. Like I don't know how Cronin is doing his job, but if you were to do it successfully, this would have been an asset you would have moved a couple of months ago, not now. Now everyone's locked up to where they're going, and if you want future trade pieces, you got to wait till December for some of these people to be traded.